Hi, in this video I'm going to show you how to finish off your sister's bag. Now again, these instructions are the same for the little sister or the big sister. This right here happens to be the big sister. You've attached your zipper at the top and you're going to turn the bag inside out. You're going to sew along the edge from the point at the bottom all the way up to a ½ inch before the binding at the top. You can't sew any further than that. You're going to square off the corner of the bag, and I take that triangle and I just tack it up to the side of the bag. Now I'm going to turn this right side out, to do the rest of the finishing. So give me just a moment. The next step is we are going to, poking out the corners, we are going to make our handle. Now normally on the bags, I have made the handle from the same fabric as the body, but you can make the handle from your coordinating fabric as well. Here's the handle for the little sister. This is the handle for the big sister. Now before you finish your ends on your handles, you can see that they're finished with a different fabric, and I used the main fabric to finish the ends. What you want to do is, if you are going to sew the handle on by machine and not use special loop connectors that I've mentioned in the pattern, you want to measure it. So just pin it onto the bag and make sure that you like the length that you're going to finish your handle to. Now, I talked about finishing the ends of the handles. So I'm simply taking a piece of fabric, and the size is described in the pattern, sewing it to each end, and then flipping that piece back and folding it underneath and ironing it. That gives a good finish to the end of the handle. Then I'm going to take the handle. Before I put the end on, you do want to fuse your interfacing to the back. On the large handle, you will have to stitch 2 pieces of interfacing together. You're just going to overlap them and top stitch. Fuse the interfacing to the back, sew your ends on, and then iron this in half, like that. Would probably be better if I do it this way, huh? Then you're going to open it, fold one raw edge to the center and iron, fold the other raw edge to the center and iron, and then fold this in half. So it's like a bias tape, a double fold tape. You will stitch starting on the open edge. You will stitch somewhere start stitching somewhere in the middle of the open edge. Go all the way along that open edge to just before the finishing on the end. You can't stitch through that because it's too thick, so stitch just before it, go all the way across, all the way down the folded edge, again stitch across, and back to where you began. You'll do that on either handle, whether you're making the one for the little sister or the one for the big sister. Now the little sister is just a wristlet, so that's going to be much smaller, and I'll show you how to attach that in just a minute. If you're making the larger bag, what you want to do is you're just going to place one end of the handle on the bag and stitch across in a couple places. To hide your stitching, try putting a button on top, or you could even layer some buttons. You can use these large buttons, or you can use smaller buttons. It doesn't matter. but you'll do this on this side, and then you'll do the same thing on the other side, just stitching across in 2 places. On the smaller bag, what you're going to do is you are going to take one end of the handle and you're going to sew across that end, just right across that piece right there. Fold your handle up and over so that the 2 ends are not sitting one on top of the other. And then you're going to stitch across the bottom right there to attach this handle in 2 places. And again, I've used buttons to add a little bit of decoration to this wristlet. Now there is another option to putting the handles on the bag, and that's what we reference in our pattern. These are called loop connectors, and they are made by Sally Tomato. We like these loop connectors, and in our pattern we actually add these loop connectors after the bag is finished. So what we do on these loop connectors, they come 4 to a pack, so you can make both bags with these loop connectors. This happens to be a gold color. They come in 4 different metallic colors. And these loop connectors are attached similar to how you would attach a magnetic button. They have prongs in the back. And so you'll fold those prongs out, just like you would on a magnetic button. You'll determine where you want to place the handle, and you'll mark where the prongs meet the side of the bag, and you're going to make 4 holes because there are 4 prongs. You will slide these prongs through the bag, and you will use these backing, the prong backings, and this is what it's going to look like on the inside of the bag. I know we're going back and forth a little bit here. So you've slid those backings on, and you've folded the prongs down. Now this is a little ugly for the inside of the bag, so follow the directions in your bag to make a backing cover. And you're simply going to make this, and then you're going to hand sew this on to cover up those prongs. So it's going to look like that. When the bag, and this is the inside of the bag, when you flip this to the right side, you'll not even notice this. Now, once you've got those handle connectors on, you need to be able to sew your handles to them. So what you're going to do is you're simply, and this is the large bag, you're simply going to slide your handle through the loop connector and stitch the ends of the handles so that they're attached to one another. On the smaller bag, you're going to simply slide the loop connector through your wristlet and stitch around the bottom. Don't try and stitch on the very thick part, the finishing part, but just stitch around the bottom, so that will create your wristlet. So I hope you enjoy your sister's bag, and I hope these videos have been helpful to you. So have fun.